It's your boy, Captain Codes.
What, and your boy Cash here featuring...
Is he the third man? He's the third man!
The wild card.
And this is Talking Like Champions. What's up, everybody? It's Captain Codes, and I'm joined by your boy, Cash, and the third man, Wild Card.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? What's going on? Boy Cash here. And Wild Card sitting here right next to me. Wild Card, tell the fans who you are.
Yes, sir, I am Wild Card Chuck Cooper, former HGW World Heavyweight Champion, former HGW Hardcore Champion, former HGW Tag Team Champion, former HGW Anytime Champion. You know what it is.
Well, we weren't talking accolades here, but yes, this is the Wild Card. He is our third man. I am Cash. You can call me King Cash, Crazy Cash, Cool Cash, or simply just Cash. We are here, the three men bonded together by wrestling. Wrestling brings the world together, in my opinion. I think wrestling makes the world go round. Doesn't matter if you're a fan of a single promotion or multiple or mainstream or indies. Wrestling is life. Life is wrestling. We want to just kind of dive right in, but we kind of want to know, first memories here, and Cap, kick it off. I mean, what got you into wrestling?
Well, I'll never forget, I would tune in, I believe it was Thursday nights, in my old age here, got gray hairs and everything else, but I used to dream about hitting the people's elbow every morning on my dad to wake him up out of bed. I would drop down that elbow so hard, he'd get so pissed off, and then he'd let me pin him 1, 2, 3. And that's how I got into wrestling. And then I remember, I think it was my 5th birthday, I received my first WWF action figure, and that was The Rock. And he was simply just rubber. He didn't do anything else, but his arms went around in a circle, and that was it. That was my first figure, and I'll never forget. I would flip back and forth between the Monday Night Wars because I had to tune in to see my boy Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and everybody else can say fuck Hulk Hogan. Well, sorry about the language, but we're humans, and this is how adults talk. And simply for that, Hulk Hogan, I would tune in. I was there in Daytona Beach, Florida, at the Bash at the beach when the greatest heel turn of all time took place at the Ocean Center. And I was 3 years old, but I'll never forget this memory because I was sitting in my seat and I was throwing garbage at that son of a bitch Hulk Hogan when he became the third man, the third man, the third man. Wildcard, what about you? What was your memory? What got you in?
Oh man,
to the wrestling game?
So I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and we had local Saturday morning wrestling down at the TV studio. Famous Jerry Lawler always used to. That was kind of like his promotion. I think it was USWA at the time, and went down there with my dad, my uncle, my cousin. We sat front row, and this is like 94, 95 at the time. I'm like 5 or 6. I'm not smart to the business at all. We're sitting.
Hell, I'm in diapers. I'm shitting myself.
Like, I have no idea if this is a work or not. And this guy comes out, and he's in a singlet. It's purple and green. And at the time, Barney was like white hot with the kids. So the crowd started chanting Barney at this guy, and this guy just went ballistic and started yelling. And me, 5 or 6, not knowing anything about the wrestling business, not knowing if this is real or not, I think this guy is yelling at me. Like, I was traumatized almost a little bit. But I also do have, I know you say fuck Hogan, and I'll also say, I mean, it doesn't work for me, brother, but I also dressed as Hollywood Hogan to a summer camp at the YMCA, but my first time ever becoming a week-to-week watcher and, consumer of the product, I was just flipping channels, no lie, Thursday, November 15th, 2001, switching channels in my bedroom, come across SmackDown on UPN, saw The Rock. I know they were running an angle where I think Vince was going to kiss Trish's ass. but it turns out to ends up being Rikishi.
Yeah,
It was a great moment, and I was hooked ever since then. And I'll tell you another funny story, too.
Well, I got to cut you off for just a second. I got to ask, hold on. Did you say UPN?
UPN.
Chuck, when were you born? Yes, Chuck, the wild card. Chuck Cooper, full name. I governmented him. When were you born?
88.
88. Perspective for our fans here. Cap, you were born when?
94.
And Cash, you're born 95. Just give a little bit of perspective there. Wild card, continue.
So I remember, really, really into wrestling, starting to watch wrestling. I'm about 2 or 3 months in. I get an NWO shirt in middle school. I'm 6th grade. I get a first ever NWO shirt.
The black and white.
The NWO comes back to WWE television. And again, not knowing if this is a work or not, Hogan, if you remember, slammed Rock in the back of the head with the hammer, loaded him into the ambulance, and then Hogan ran that semi into the ambulance. I took that NWO shirt, no lie, and cut it with scissors into thousands of pieces because I was so distraught that Hogan had, I thought maybe
killed the Rock.
And now being older, come to find out he comes back to television in 2 weeks and everything's fine.
Hollywood Rock.
And that's storytelling in the wrestling world for you. Those are some good memories, boys. Really, I dove right into wrestling being struck in a fan of certain superstars that got me in the game. One man got me in immediately, and another man got me in right after. First man, Viva la Raza.
R.I.P. to a legend.
Eddie Guerrero.
We love you,
of course,
Eddie.
Of course.
Gone too soon.
Should still be here. That's a whole other story. Moving on. Then it was, of course, the West Coast Pop himself.
Booyaka! Booyaka!
Rey Mysterio got my love right into wrestling right there. I remember his debut match.
The man of many masks.
Chavo Guerrero Jr. as well, going against each other. That was Rey's debut. Loved him from the immediate start that I saw him. Dude in the mask flying around the ring. Watched it, grew up, got going. Not until I went to an event did I really get love for wrestling. My parents, my grandparents on both sides surprised myself and my cousin with tickets to our local Ocean Center here in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Which, Bash at the Beach, if you remember.
Yes. So, this is it's like 05. Cena's champ. Kurt Angle's on Raw. It was a Raw event. Shawn Michaels.
Was this a live event?
This was a live event.
Kurt Angle versus John Cena in a street fight.
Yes.
Wild.
Bro, I ended up taking Carlito's
guys.
apple home that night and stuck it in the freezer and had it for a year.
Just because
Ocean Center's an iconic venue. It also held, what was that? AEW's Shawn Spears debuts, and he blasts Cody Rhodes over the head. Now both of these guys are back in the WWE, and
they're in a good place. They're definitely in a good place.
So my love for wrestling really came when I went to that event. I was the fanboy as a kid. I mean, 4 rows from the walkways, the ramp where they walk out at, and every time a wrestler would either come out in their entrance or leave, we were allowed to get up out of our seats in the first few rows and run over to the side and go reach. I touched John Cena's hand as a boy and said, holy shit, never washing my hand. Used to go. Yup, telling you. Some crazy kid shit. But I gained a love for wrestling right then and there. I watched it live up close and personal, first time ever. Ever since then, we've never stopped. And for anybody who's wondering, the 3 of us choosing to do this is because we all have the same love and passion. I think I can speak for the 3 of us on that. We never stopped watching wrestling. There are a lot of wrestling fans in the world.
Constant.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of wrestling fans in the world that stopped watching. And it got boring to them at one point, or it didn't make sense, or they lost a love for it. That never happened for, I'd say, the 3 of us that are in this room right now. Never stopped, and never ever will. Which brought us here today to the Talking Like Champions podcast, episode number 1, and we hope for a lot more.
And which, speaking of, I know we got to talk about our fondest memories and earliest memories of wrestling. So just to give the people a little bit more information about ourselves, I was thinking, why don't we tell them what superstar we look up to, or current, past, present, future, right now, who do we think, Chuck, who's your all-time favorite wrestler for the people that are listening to this today?
Oh man, if anybody knows anything about the wild card, if you've seen me perform in the ring, a lot of mannerisms comes from this guy. My number one guy will always be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Rattlesnake.
What?
Very good, very good. And what about current superstar?
Current superstars, that's a great question because the product really has been cooking all over the board through WWE with NXT now on fire. So I will say, I don't know if I have a favorite current wrestler right now, but one that I'm really, really intrigued to see up and coming, and I know he's been featured and stuff like that, but I'm excited to see his ascent into superstardom. It's definitely going to have to be Braun Breaker.
Definitely, he's a animal. A unit of a man, for sure.
What about you, Cash?
You already heard me earlier. My
Rey
favorite all
Mysterio,
time.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, it's like, it has
I guess
to be a tie with
current
both,
would be
man. I just
Rey
can't.
Mysterio, but technically past. So who would you go with that's a little bit younger than Rey Mysterio?
I'll go a couple more here then. I'll go a couple more. It's obviously going to be Eddie Guerrero, like all time. I think that man was still around. He would.
And obviously, you like that other guy that's in that other company that did a stupid spot, but that's
If I'm going
beyond
for
measures.
my all-time favorites, I'll break it down a little more. Yup, Eddie Guerrero. And then, yes, I don't call him by his AEW name. Edge, the rated R superstar. Edge, that was my name.
We love you, Cope.
All the time. Yeah, I do love you, Cope. I'll go on the wild card. I'll go on the wild card line here. Somebody new that I like. How about that? Current, yes, but pardon me. Somebody new. I don't want to go current and say like Finn Balor because I love Finn Balor, stuff like that. New, just like he said. I am always watching. Long live the Tsar, Ilya Dragunov.
Okay, I like it.
That man is an absolute.
Great pick.
He's a machine. Because he, just like other people would say, like Gunta. I think Ilya brings in realism to his wrestling. Because that man's legitimately getting fucking hit. There's bruises and marks. You don't see that on every superstar.
Gunta.
Oh, yeah. And listen, you don't see that on every superstar. You don't see the beating sometimes.
Could you imagine?
But that man takes a beating and dishes one out. I love me some Ilya Dragunov.
Could you imagine a triple threat between Dragunov, Gunther, and Sheamus?
Banga.
That
After banga. After banga. After banga. Which brings me to my past, which obviously I told you I grew up dropping the People's Elbow and love the People's Champion, always will. Got to wear some of his merch, wearing some Under Armour right now as we speak. But obviously I love, Seth Rollins, but currently he's out with injury. And if I had to look to a current superstar that I believe is on the rise, I'm not going to, if I'm talking NXT, I'm going to have to whoop that trick. But I'm going to go SmackDown because Melo don't miss.
Oh, yeah, no. 100%.
Carmelo Hayes, up-and-coming superstar, going to be a world champion in the next 5 years.
Yes, in a Vince McMahon world, Carmelo
Absolutely
Hayes is
not.
released in 3 months.
Get a push, face a guy for a month or two, main event guy for a month or two.
Maybe win a U.S. title,
And then you're done.
and that's it.
And then you're done.
Which now he's already feuding with L.A. Knight. Yeah.
But Melo don't miss, but he can't hit that promo either, can he?
Nah, not against L.A. Knight. Sorry, but
If I had to face
we don't want to
myself,
get
I'd just
too
look in
far
the mirror.
off track here on our debut episode of Talking Like Champions, which brings us into the reason that we are here today. Besides our love for wrestling and our passion for everything that goes on, we're just here to inform the people that like wrestling as much as we do with some informative information that we think you might enjoy. Which brings us to our review of NXT Battleground. Fellas, I don't know if you guys got to tune in the entirety of NXT Battleground. It was live from the UFC's Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the first time ever, now that TKO co-branded. I think the UFC is doing a lot of promos like WWE now, if you ask me, but that's not to get off topic. What'd you think of that NXT Women's North American Championship match, the first ever between Sol Ruca, Jada Parker, Michin, Lash Legend, Kalani Jordan, and Fallon Henley?
So, as you know, Cap, me and you actually got together and we actually sat down and watched Battleground live. I've seen a lot of these girls on the live events because I do like to check out the NXT live events.
And we live in the area right here by NXT, so we actually have that ability.
Yeah, we get to, I mean, at least check out, like, every other month you got the opportunity to check out a live event. So, a lot of these girls, they deserve it. And honestly, when me and you were sitting here watching this, I actually thought that Michin was actually going to win this match. I thought it would have been great for her on that NXT roster.
We both did discuss that as well.
Yeah, because I thought she could have been a veteran in that locker room between all these girls who are
holding the championship.
Yeah, who are considerably, doesn't have as much experience as Michin does in her wrestling career. But to see Kalani Jordan pulled that off. That was incredible. I'll give a lot of credit to them. A lot of things that you don't think of logistically is that ring side area was so smaller than it usually is.
Yeah, there was a lot of complaints from some of the superstars that they didn't really like the setup of the Apex. So I think if they were to hold something like that again, I don't know if it'll really work out.
Yeah, it's really hard. As a TV studio, it would be great.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah,
but I will say, because of the tight fitting, there was a spot in there where Sol Ruca kind of did like a moonsault to the outside, and because there was the ladder bridged from the ring to the announcer's table, and it was such a confined space, she hit that moonsault so perfectly that if she would have went left or right 6 inches, it could have ended up being devastating. But it was really nice to see Kalani Jordan get that opportunity and walk away as the first ever NXT Women's North American Championship.
Well deserved. And what about you, Cash?
Well, I did see just a few spots. I worked that day, so I'll be honest, I didn't see much of it. I had to catch up. Kind of feeding off of what Wildcard was saying, I saw Jada Parker absolutely ate nothing but ass on that ladder. And that's what Wildcard was talking about, the area being so small. She was safe, but not. I mean, it was a weird spot for her to fall, and how she did. Definitely a small place. I thought the Apex was pretty cool idea. The setup in there looked cool because it is shaped like an octagon, essentially, in a circle all the way around. So, I mean, the crowd and everything being in a circle place, that's kind of cool.
It looked incredible.
No, it looked dope.
It was a great setup,
especially during the underground.
Just
which
perform
we're gonna get to here in a few minutes, but it looked incredible.
I just think for a ladder match, it was good, but
not a lot of room.
Needed more room. That's all. Yeah, that's all. I mean, not much more to take away from that negatively. Sol Ruca is an athletic, crazy son of a bitch. I absolutely love her. Soul Snatcher, if you haven't seen her finisher, it's essentially inverted flip into a RKO, essentially, cutter. It's nasty. She hits it clean every time. Jada Parker up and coming. Michin, obviously, SmackDown, but doing some NXT stuff. I like it. Lash Legend, I actually thought was going to win. That was my pick. If it wasn't her, then I went Sol Ruca, but I really thought Lash Legend was going to be the one to win it. Just being tied up with the Metaphor and the Trick Williams storyline, thought it would look good for her. Fallon Henley, obviously, always love some Fallon Henley, but she's kind of just the workhorse of NXT, but I don't think she's ever going to win another title other than the tag title reign she already had. Kalani Jordan winning was a surprise. I didn't think she was going to be the one to win. I've already seen a lot of people on the internet saying she didn't have much of an aura to begin with. Now she has that. As soon as she put that belt on, it was like, oh, you reek of champion. You look like you belong here, and it's only going to take her career up. So, all in all, I liked the ladder match. I just thought it was a little small in the area. Congrats to Kalani Jordan on winning for sure.
More room, and I would say I'm not trying to diss on the product at all, but all of these girls, other than Michin, like I said,
they're all new. Essentially,
they're all new, and with the so little ladder experience between them, there was a lot of hesitations in there.
They did good for that. You're right, though.
They did, but I mean, it was definitely noticeable, definitely in the beginning of the match. They weren't sure which way to go, and hey, I'm not here to talk people down or anything like that. I'm just saying it was a little bit noticeable to me. But yeah, other than that, it was a solid 6-women ladder match.
A good opener.
First ever.
I give it a 3.5. I don't know what
Fact check that, I'm not sure.
AEW Mark Meltzer gave it, but I gave it a 3.5.
I don't even know if he rated it. If he did, we didn't look because I don't like Meltzer's rating.
And then
Moving on.
the NXT Tag Team Championships between Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus the OC, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
I know when me and you sat here, Cap, we were both thinking that the OC was going to win this one. We thought with the OC coming out with AJ on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, we really thought that the OC were primed to win these NXT Tag Team Championships. But I got to give it to you. Nathan Frazier and Axiom as the Tag Team Champions, again, seen in plenty of times on live events. They're awesome, man. They're really
fire.
They're getting that chemistry together, and it's one thing I also hate to see is like, we're going to get some chemistry, but let these guys be a tag team for a little bit. These guys have found a spot on that roster. Let them be a tag team. Let's not. I know WWE in the past has been, let's make tag teams and then let's split them up. Let's keep these guys together.
Which is what they're teasing with A-Town Down Under right now.
Yeah,
but
keep these guys.
Theory's going to blow up as a face.
They got a good spot on the roster. It was a good match. Nathan Frazier, as an athlete, we watched it just
trained by Seth Rollins.
We just about an hour ago. Like the way that he ran those ropes to set up for that kick on Anderson, it was a beast. He was a beast, and that's awesome, man.
And like I said, we did think the OC. I'm pretty sure Cash as well. We discussed it as well.
That's my opinion yet.
And
they were never winning. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to be honest. OC was never winning. I love Frazier and Axiom too. Nathan Frazier is a dog. I love Axiom now. I used to know a kid, but I only know Axiom now. He's awesome. Nathan Frazier, though, product of Seth Rollins' school, has so many Seth Rollins mannerisms in the way that he wrestles, but with a spin of his own. He's got a huge future. Again, in a Vince McMahon world, Nathan Frazier probably doesn't even touch a main roster, and if he does, it's not long. I think he can make the main roster with the way things are going right now. He definitely reeks of superstar. Love the OC. I've never hated the OC. I absolutely love Gallows and Anderson, but they just kind of got put in a bad spot, I'm going to be honest. They were there to put them over. They did a great job in doing so. They definitely made it look like they could win, but I didn't think they were ever going to win.
Definitely did look good. Brings us to the next match, but let's not forget NXT Battleground was hosted by none other than Get It Sexy. Get It Sexy. Sexy Red was in the house, and she had to twerk with the winner of this next match, Lola Vice.
For all you twerk lovers out there, I'll tell you, you missed something, but this is a wrestling podcast. Moving on. NXT Underground, as you said, yes, Lola Vice, Shayna Baszler. Again,
I thought they did terrific for the NXT Underground vibe. It felt like an MMA match, but also still felt WWE. It still felt like a wrestling match.
Now this match.
Well, there was a moment where
Lola
kicked her off, and she went into the post, and I was like, okay, well, this is what they're doing. I thought they were just gonna stick to the MMA script. I wasn't sure how they were gonna go apart because both women have MMA experience and background training and stuff. So I thought they were gonna go with that. But then there was a couple times where I think Shayna kicked Lola when she was down, and I was like, oh, well, that's not very MMA, but that's definitely WWE. So I thought the mesh was great. And then as me and Wildcard had discussed when we were watching this, it was a perfect setup when Shayna Baszler got that backhand spinning back fist and she fell off the apron into the crowd or into the people that were outside, whatever they were, the backstage jobbers, and she couldn't get knocked out. She couldn't be knocked out outside of the ring. And then the finish was fantastic. It looked like she was actually beating her down in a UFC fight. Something I would tune in and say, oh, that was fight of the night right there. And that was the KO. Like, that looked great. I don't know what you guys thought about the match, but I thought it was awesome.
I will add to it, when we were watching the match, I got to point out, like, Shayna's gear, absolutely fire. We were sitting there watching the match, and it was about halfway through, and we're like, who the hell is bleeding? Because you just see this, looks like this blood from the knees down on Shayna, and I'm like, oh my god, what is happening?
I thought she just had red boots on.
It was the gear.
When I first seen I did, it was just like red boots, and then I saw you boys and y'all were talking about blood and stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I looked closer, and I realized it was blood splatter. Was the design on her gear, and I was like, that is really cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. I enjoyed that.
So well done on the NXT Underground match. I thought so far we're 3 matches through, and they absolutely slid on NXT Battleground. Shawn Michaels cooked it up. NXT North American Championship with Oba Femi defending against Wesley and Joe Coffey. I thought the match was phenomenal. They keep putting Oba Femi into triple threat matches, and it's not that he's a weak wrestler by any means, but these triple threats make him look like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
So I thought Oba Femi winning was the right call, though I love Wesley. I think we're building to a bigger story, and now with the upcoming departure of the potential of Ricochet leaving WWE, Wesley looks to fill that void in the main roster, in my opinion.
Yeah, this, like I said, this is my men's match of the night for sure. I've already said it time and time again about Wesley. I don't got to keep saying it. It's an absolute generational talent. Joe Coffey is a freaking unit, stud. Oba Femi. So, like Wild Card, I was at a live event. I saw him, and it's like, oh, okay, dude's awesome. But he kind of just never did anything and kind of forgot about it for a while until that breakout tournament, and I was like, oh, I remember this guy. And boy, different aura around him this time. When he came out, the music, of course, like the fans, they get into it.
The character fits.
Yes, it all does very well. I get not gonna lie, for all you Marvel fans out there, I'm getting M'Baku vibes, getting some big vibes like that. But it's dope. It's dope, and yeah, that triple threat absolutely slapped. Power behind Oba Femi. Joe Coffey showing his own power and athleticism. You know Wesley is an absolute nutcase in the ring.
And we've been watching Wesley since he was in TNA as
Rascals,
Desmond
baby.
Xavier.
What?
In the Rascals, he was in the, he was the X Division champion. And speaking of TNA, we get into the co-main event where it was Roxanne Perez defending her NXT Women's Championship against the TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace.
Yep.
I thought the match was phenomenal. At one point, I just remember watching and looking over at Wildcard and going, Who's bleeding? How is Jordan Grace bleeding? And then her earring was ripped out and stuck into the stocking of Roxanne. I thought the match was pretty solid. It was the longest match on the night, coming in at just a little under 14 minutes.
14 minutes, yeah.
But I thought that the match was pretty good. It was a good way to showcase Jordan Grace. And then I thought the finish with Tatum Paxley coming out trying to steal the TNA Knockouts Championship, I think that sets up for, what's the pay-per-view? Is that Hard to Kill coming up on Friday?
Hard to Kill on Friday, yeah.
Coming up, it'll be Friday. What day is that?
The 16th. That's tomorrow.
The 16th.
Tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yeah. So this podcast will actually air on Saturday, the day before Clash, or actually the day of Clash of the Castle.
Fact checking the TNA show right now.
I'm sorry,
I know you guys are wrong. It's not hard to kill.
No.
Kill Justice to Kill.
No, you guys are just guessing.
Disgusting.
I don't know. I thought it was Hard to Kill, but I'm not sure what the exact TNA pay-per-view is.
It was a great match between Roxanne Perez and Jordan Grace. Definitely getting to showcase Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez.
For all you TNA fans out there, I knew what it was. Just wanted to make sure. It's against all odds.
Against all odds.
Yes.
Sorry, that's what it is. Yeah.
And this is my women's match of the night for sure. This was my overall match of the night as well, I'm going to be honest. I think Roxanne Perez Jordan Grace was a great match. They both did great. Roxanne Perez's character work from the heel that she's become is absolutely her best work of her career so far.
And again, the finish was good.
Finish was good. Jordan Grace
looked strong.
Never looked like she was... she never looked down and out per se. She went down, Perez had the ups, of course, but she never looked down and out until right at the end when the finish was happening. So, great match, my overall match of the night for sure. That brings us to our main event.
When it's Trick Willie.
Yep.
Taking on All Ego, Ethan Page.
I am one of the biggest All Ego Ethan Page supporters out there. I absolutely
Since TNA
love.
teaming with Josh Alexander.
Greatest, one of the greatest tag teams ever. Argue with me on that or not, another story. Ethan Page is. People call him bland, and I don't get it. What is there not? People call him bland, and it's like I don't see it. Dude's a superstar. He's got the look, the music. He came out with the same aura that he's always had. All ego. He never changed it up. I think he fit and played the part perfect. Trick Williams, it's too soon. That's all. You can't beat him. Can't let him go down. Trick Willie did fantastic as he does. Yes, I said fantastic with extra emphasis because there's plenty of fans out there right now who are bitching and arguing, saying Trick Willie's boring or that he's too green and can't do it. You'll get in the ring. I'd like to see you do it. I think Trick is absolutely still learning, but calling him too green is outlandish. Did Ethan Page carry the match? No. I think Ethan Page did maybe a little more, but didn't carry it by any means. Trick Williams still your NXT champion. I think that was the right call, right decision. Wildcard, what do you think about our main event of Battleground?
Oh yeah, so I'm a huge, again, like these guys, I'm a huge all ego Ethan Page fan. More than that, just I've watched his YouTube videos. I'm more impressed with the man than I am the character. But he totally deserved this. I was so happy for him to get this spot, especially to debut in his first match, get an NXT World Title shot, and to be coming in and forced in that spotlight. I'm just so happy for Ethan Page. Trick Williams killing it, still learning, but he's going to be that man. He's going to be that man to, he's carrying NXT right now, the brand right now. I don't know who is going to step up to him. Cody came out and said we're getting a Battle Royal next Tuesday to see who the number one contender is.
From all locker rooms.
Yeah. I think we can cap off the NXT talk with that.
Because that's insane, because he hinted at that guys will come from different locker rooms. So with Jordan Grace,
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he will appear, ladies and gentlemen. We think Matt Hardy's definitely going to be there. I also think Moose is going to be there.
Moose.
Moose. Joe Hendry going to be there.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
We're probably going to get a copyright strike for that, but fuck them.
Definitely.
It's all in good faith for you, Joe Hendry.
It
so
is.
don't take it personally. We just wanted to share that moment with
I'm
you.
just marking out. I love the TNA
With that,
crossover.
it's great.
It's my favorite thing
give
right
us
now in wrestling.
NXT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all for that pay-per-view of
I've
Worlds
been a TNA
Collide.
fan as long as I've
Like
been a WWE
Worlds
fan, I'm
Collide,
telling
like
you
Jordan
guys.
Grace had talked about doing a Worlds Collide pay-per-view. I believe that was WCW's pay-per-view back in the day, but they can definitely get the rights to that. And let's bring us to Clash of the Castle. And you know where it's live from, none other than Drew McIntyre's hometown, and what I'm assuming will be the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Live from the OVO
We'll come back
Arena.
to that match, but we do have 5 matches on the card for Clash of the Castle. Let's go ahead and start with the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, taking on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. Who do you think? What do you think of that match? What do you think is going to go down, and what's your predictions for who's going to walk away as the champion?
Okay, so in my opinion, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are getting some steam rolling, and if you are not going to take the titles off of them here, it's going to be really hard down the line to take the titles off them. So to me, I'm going with an upset here. I'm going that Zoe and Shayna are going to actually win these. But to save them, Bianca and Jade are not going to be involved in the finish of this. It's going to be Alba Fire or Isla Dawn. But if I had to put my money on it, whoa, Jesus!
Bless you.
I'm
say bless you here on the podcast.
I'm going with Zoe and Shayna for the upset.
You go with Zoe and Shayna. What about you, Cash? Who do you think is going to walk away with the championship belt?
Listen, on a more personal note, shout out and prayers up to Alba Fire's mother. Recently passed away. And car accident from what I saw in Orlando. That's terrible news. So, yeah, I think they need to win it. I think they deserve to win it. It's the right call. But I don't know if you can stop Bianca and Jade just yet. They're firing on all cylinders. I think they're kind of just getting started. And, yeah. I don't think you can take titles off them just yet. I think it's just a little too soon. I think Zoe and Shayna are just placeholders in the match, unfortunately. Shayna's lost her NXT aura, and that kind of sucks. But no, I think that with the sentimental news about Alba's mother, if I'm Bianca and Jade,
would be the time to give them the
I go
championships.
backstage Triple H and say, here, you take these titles, you get them to them two girls tonight because they're home, and that moment that happened that, again, prayers up, don't want to see that. That would just be kind of sentimental and awesome for them.
But I still think...
Aside from that, I don't see Bianca and Jade losing, though. That's my opinion.
And I'd have to agree with you because against the wall, I believe that Bianca and Jade will retain and walk away with the WWE Women's
For now,
Tag Team
until they
Championships
split when
and
the time
ultimately probably lose those Survivor Series or the Rumble and fight at WrestleMania in Vegas.
Maybe so. But I don't know if they lose them that late. We'll see. It's the
Then we also have Bayley taking on Piper Niven.
It's our other women's match on the card, correct? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
the only other women's match on this card. But again, Piper Niven getting an opportunity, and what is that? Her home? I don't think it's her hometown necessarily, but it's her home country. So
Yeah,
Piper getting the opportunity here
close to home that is.
makes sense. But I still think Bayley is going to walk away as your WWE Women's Champion.
No, she's from Scotland. This is home for her as well. I thought so. This is home for Piper Niven as well. If I had a choice of, if I'm writing your storyline or doing whatever it is, if I say, all right, we get one hometown victory tonight, who gets it? Obviously, Drew. I just don't think Piper Niven wins. I think Bayley's still too fresh on this reign. Although I have to say, so far, Bayley's reign is kind of lackluster. But Piper Niven gonna put on a banger, gonna show how good she actually is, and people don't know it. But Bayley retains. That's it. Wild card. What you thinking?
Okay, so
The other women's card on the match on the card.
correct me if I'm mistaken. I do work a lot, so I'm not able to keep up with the weekly functions of SmackDown.
We will be doing a lot of fact checking on this show.
Is this Bayley's first title defense since winning the title at WrestleMania?
TV.
No,
Because she wasn't at Backlash.
But it's not.
She defended on SmackDown,
Naomi.
if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they had a banger and Bayley beat her with a roll up.
And then she also
It was a good match,
the
though?
King or Queen.
I think that may have only been one of the only
Or King of Queen.
TV title
Yeah,
defenses.
TV
But I
title.
believe they can fact check me if I'm wrong. I'll have to get with the dirt sheet man himself.
Yeah, the
but I
3
believe
times.
that Bayley's defended that championship
Twice.
9 times
On
in
the-
general
Yes,
with
she has.
TV and live events.
Well,
She has
as-
it
Just
the
like
other day.
everybody has basically defended except for one man who's very close to breaking Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, United States Championship reign, and that's Logan Paul.
Oh, they're
and
gonna-
I know for a fact he's only defended that championship twice.
Yeah.
Either way, going back to what we were saying,
With Bayley.
I'm really looking for a real good match from Bayley on this. I know that Piper is going to want to go all out. She's going to want to showcase this. So
Piper's a lot tougher than people think.
you're going to see Bayley fight from behind in this match, as she should, as she's the babyface. But I'm happy. I'm happy for all involved. I'm happy because Bayley definitely deserved that since the pandemic, being able to come back.
She definitely does. Like I said, I'm going to follow up again. I think her reign is still a little lackluster right now. I think this match with Piper Niven can definitely do good things for Bayley from here on out. She needs a really good personal rivalry after this. I feel like they're just giving her opponents here and there, the Naomi and the Tiffany Stratton, and I ultimately think Tiffany Stratton's going to win the title, probably like SummerSlam or something big. But yeah, Bayley needs this win. She retains. Moving on, that's our women's matches there for the night.
Let's pick it up with the mid-card championship.
Is it really a mid-card right now?
I mean, yes and no.
Not since
Seth ain't...
Gunta has put that damn Intercontinental title on the map, I'm telling you. That title's not a mid-card. Go ahead, though.
Sammy hasn't defended it very often. It's, like you said, basically anybody that's became champion since WrestleMania. Not gonna lie to you. No knock. Still love WWE. Still watch it on a weekly. Really just waiting on Uncle Howdy. Because nothing's hitting on all cylinders like it was when the final boss and the tribal chief, head of the table, Roman Reigns, was on SmackDown.
As I wear my
just
final
hasn't
boss
been the
shirt
same. But Sami Zayn taking on Chad Gable. Rumor has it Chad Gable re-signed his WWE contract, and he was going to be gifted the championship as a what would you call it? A good graces.
It's a full-on point.
I'm definitely...
So will Chad Gable walk away with a championship at Clash at the Castle? I still don't know, because I'm on the fence, because yes, the dirt sheets say that they're going to give him the championship, but then it's like, you've read this, so now you know. So now I think maybe he somehow gets dicked and wins it on Monday Night Raw.
No, so I'm actually... Gable's going to win this match, and he's going to be walking out of Scotland as the new Intercontinental Championship. To me...
That's the only title that changes hands.
I love Drew, but this is the only title that's changing hands
because
on Saturday. Because what it's going to be, this whole Sammy story is going to play out beyond Clash at the Castle. We're going to move into Money in the Bank. I definitely expect both Sammy and Chad Gable to both be in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match next month in Toronto. But I think it's really ultimately going to set up Chad Gable versus Otis at SummerSlam for that Intercontinental title, where we're finally going to crown Otis an Intercontinental Champion.
That's a good hot take right there. And remember that when we do our SummerSlam review, that if it's Chad Gable taking on Otis for the WWE Heavyweight Championship,
right? It's good to put it. Yep.
Then I thought that'd be a hell of a prediction.
That's a former Maximum Male model right there, Otis.
Which apparently they're going to appear on AEW here soon.
Listen, he had his peach. He had a Money in the Bank. He's won some tag titles. And lost it all. But one guy's been there for him. Chad Gable. Gable walks out Intercontinental champ. He wins the money.
And if it's not because of Otis, it's because he's got some more reassurance. I don't know if you guys watch the WWE exclusives on YouTube, but you could see Chad Gable clearly talking to Ivy Nile in the background. He's already talked to the Creed brothers.
Oh, they're playing. They're saying
it makes sense that the Creed brothers join him, form the new Team Angle, and Chad Gable walks away as the Intercontinental Champion. Which
Gable
brings us to our probably, in my opinion, co-main event, Cody Rhodes, though he still might get the main event just because it's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, so this is going to be an I Quit match, so I expect
this should start the show.
No, this should actually be the main event.
I would start
won't be because Drew in Scotland, and that's
I would start hot match right here. AJ Styles, Cody
Damian
Rhodes.
and Drew, you want that pop right at the beginning of the show.
But don't
you
think
could
Sammy and
could
Chad
go
do
either
that?
way.
Don't you think Sammy and Chad can get off the show and Chad wins and gives him that pop to start off the night? Come on, he's a heel, but you're gonna pop for Gable.
I don't know.
Either way, I think Cody Rhodes makes AJ Styles, for the first time ever in his illustrious career, say the words, "I quit."
Just in the words and phrases of Cody Rhodes recently, guys, he's been absolutely killing it.
Another hot take I'm going to say, it's probably not going to come true, but I don't know AJ Styles to say I quit, so this is going to be very strange.
He doesn't. Fact checker right now, he's had 3 I Quit matches in his career. He's never said it one time.
I'm going to go with a bold prediction.
Now, I did see...
Hold on.
He's going to be incapacitated,
Okay.
and he is not going to be able to say, I quit. He's going to pass out.
So that way he still
Third
never
match.
says, I quit.
At
And they
SummerSlam.
have to
Money
go
in the
third,
Bank?
yeah?
Money in the Bank in
Oh,
Toronto.
It's gonna be in
In
Toronto.
Toronto.
They need another big selling point other than
Yeah.
Money in the Bank. So
And I don't think that Meltzer's probably
I can
going to
agree
give
with
this
that.
I Quit a 5-star because it's an I Quit. That's just kind of a hard match to make work with a 5-star match,
but I
in my
think these
opinion.
boys are absolutely going to kill it
But
regardless.
think
so.
they'll kill it. But I would say if you wanted to go hot take, I did see that Mama Rhodes is going to be there. So does that mean that The Rock faked that
Is she
elbow
really?
injury?
I didn't see that. Is she really?
Yeah, she's traveling with Cody to Scotland.
Did The Rock fake that elbow injury on the set because he has to come
If you, hey,
to
he just posted-
Scotland
Hey, so he
to
posted
take
it
on
today. If he faked
the
it,
American Nightmare?
Yep. Wild
It would be the
wild
wildest
card
thing
is
that we've
rubbing his,
seen in the world of pro
what's his
wrestling in quite some time.
tricep
Though I
inside
don't
here,
think that will happen.
elbow area.
I do think the American Nightmare will walk away as the WWE champion.
yeah, he retained.
And that
bottom
brings
line.
us to our main event at Clash at the Castle between your World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Judgment Day is banned from ringside. I'm going to be honest, like Priest, not a fan favorite because, I mean, no one's done justice to that belt the way that Seth did. Even with him getting injured. When he got injured, that belt's kind of went downhill since then.
No offense, yeah.
And
Seth's been the only one to really
Damien-
hold the belt.
Well, he
Drew
has
had
been...
it for what
well,
was it?
5 minutes.
5 minutes and 15 seconds. No, yep, 5 minutes and 16 seconds. Hey, you had to correct some idiot on Twitter.
Either way, he hasn't done much, but, you know, I still think Damian somehow walks away as your WWE World Heavyweight Champion because that man, I think they're going to have to do the swap here. And it might only work over here because you're in Drew's hometown. CM Punk's going to get the shit booed out of him when he costs Drew. Or you can spin it the other way. Drew wins the championship. CM Punk comes back. Ultimately, my opinion, CM Punk wins the world championship from Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam.
How is that? So, hold up there. You got to remember, Gunther is the king of the ring. The Gunther gets to choose which title he wants to go for at SummerSlam.
CM Punk wins Money in the Bank, cashes in.
I think
I low-key
I
can see
think-
Punk getting it a third time, but
I
that's another
think I think if you're trying to put Drew versus Gunther at fucking SummerSlam,
It will be a banger, and I am A-okay with that.
I expect maybe Drew, maybe another title change hands here in the hometown. Drew deserves it. He can go on against Gunther, have an incredible match if CM Punk does enter Money in the Bank.
Punk
if he's
could return at SummerSlam and cost him.
I mean, he could after the match. I mean, and if Damian Priest retains against Gunther, or
The odd
I
man-
just don't. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to see Damian Priest versus Gunther.
Drew's gonna win. Let's be honest here. I'm gonna cut all the crap right now. Drew wins. There's no way you can do this again. Drew wins. Has to win the title. Has to be a good reign this time. Has to be in front of Scotland. Has to come out to Broken Dreams again.
What's a good reign? 2 months is SummerSlam, so then does he lose to
He
Gunther?
doesn't lose it then. He don't lose it to Gunther SummerSlam. I don't think.
Don't think Gunther's ready yet, right?
Punk costs him then you would be making sense. Otherwise, the odd man out in this entire situation is going to be Finn Balor because Damian's going to lose this title to move on to a program. With
And it should
the
have been
Judgment Day
Finn.
falling apart as they've been doing. Finn Balor and Damian's obviously going to end up being a match. It feels like something I could see.
At
I feel like they're
SummerSlam,
teasing
the
Finn
Demon.
Balor, the Demon with all the Money in the Bank briefcase back there. You never know. But realistically, Finn's going to be the odd man out because he's going to end up fighting a titleless Damian, and they're going to have a banger of a match. But Finn
Finn-
gets nothing.
Finn versus Dom in a ladder match for the custody of Liv's hotel room key.
Oh,
I mean, hey, I would book
That's
it.
cool.
That is cool.
That's not cool.
in all realism, though, yeah, Drew walks out champ. That's it. Bottom line, nothing else you could say. I don't think they could absolutely dick this man again of a big moment like this.
I mean, they gave him what he wanted. It's really hard to tell, man. This is why this is going to be a good pay-per-view because...
Look, I'm a huge Damian Priest fan,
Let's be honest. We think we know what's going to happen in the Intercontinental Championship match, but I could very easily see Sami Zayn retaining this championship and then, like I said, dropping it at Money in the Bank because Vince McMahon's not running things anymore. It's Paul Triple H Levesque, and I don't think Sami Zayn is going to be in the ladder match and be the Intercontinental Champion. Nope. I just don't think that Triple H is going to roll that way.
Final pick, Sami or Chad?
So I'm gonna say that Sami retains this championship and loses at Money in the Bank. And now you have time to build the Otis and the Chad Gable some more.
Who wins, Sami or Chad? Wildcard.
Chad Gable walks out as the brand new Intercontinental Champion.
I agree with Wildcard. I have to go right there. Bayley, Piper, Niven. I think we're all in agreement here. Bayley walks out still champion. Correct?
Yep, because Bayley's losing to Nia at SummerSlam, but we'll save that for that preview.
Correct. Bianca, Jade, and Alba Fire Island, Dawn, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler. I still think Bianca, Jade win.
It really could go either way. It really could go either way here. I still do think that Bianca and Jade will walk out, but it does make sense if they don't get pinned.
Wildcard, what do you think?
And then they both get a chance to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match next month, and they don't have to be champions, and they can win the belts back at SummerSlam, drop them again, and boom.
Let's see.
Upset alert, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler walking out, women tag team champions.
Okay. All right, well, how about Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles? I quit, boys. I gotta go Cody Rhodes here. You can't stop it yet. It's too soon. Wildcard, what you think?
I'm going no contest here, but Cody Rhodes retains.
Oh, good.
WWE champion.
Good call there. Didn't think that. Cap.
Because of the incapacitation, you're thinking?
Okay. Cap, what do you think?
Cody walks away champion, let's be honest. He's holding it till Mania.
Final predictions. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, World Heavyweight Championship. Boys, I told you, I'll say it again. Drew McIntyre, Scotland, Broken Dreams, world title, gets out of there.
If he plays Broken Dreams, he's winning the championship. But if he doesn't, then if it's this old gallantry, then I'm going... Oh, Ross.
Yeah. Go ahead, Wildcard. Here's what you're about to say.
We played Broken Dreams last year, and he lost.
That's true. But, hey, that was a snippet. I want the whole
But
song.
That was not
I want the whole
the right time.
I'm going...
I thought the Tribal Chief.
Drew McIntyre, man. He is on another level with his heel work right now, and I want to see...
Thanks social media for that.
I want to continue that because...
If he was in TNA, he'd be the digital media champion.
I swear to God.
Flop dollar and all.
Flop dollar!
That's
all right,
it,
ladies and gentlemen, I think that...
Clash of the Castle preview right there wrapped up. I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
what
NXT Battleground was exciting. We recorded this today here on Thursday, June 13th, and we will be airing this Saturday for Clash at the Castle as our preview and our review from NXT Battleground. This has been Talking Like Champions.